Hello there, everyone. This is Jessica Zimmerman, a District Academic Support Specialist, here to give you a quick tutorial about what I just sent you in those beloved boxes and all those materials. You're probably thinking, what do I do now? So by now, you must have read my novel of an email. I'm sorry about that. But I wanted to make sure going into week one, you're totally set up to know what to do for STEM. So if you've clicked on the link that I've provided in the email, you should see a folder similar to this. This is where you'll access Google Drive. You will need a Google or a Gmail account in order to access this most likely. If you do need help setting that up, please let me know, but it's essential that you do get that information all good to go because this is what we'll be using this year for the curriculum. So first thing you'll do is you'll notice the STEM roadmap. If you did get a roadmap from me already, feel free to trash it because I did find a way to kind of set it up a little bit easier for all of you at your schools. I did realize that since everyone's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, different classes are rotating, it would be a little confusing to put that on the roadmap. So what I did was broke it into lessons and sessions. So hopefully that'll be easier to find. So for this first week, you'll see that your lesson 1 is critical thinking and Legos. I think that lesson's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm going to model and kind of step you through lesson 2, which would be your second lesson in your session 1. So now that I know I'm looking for session 1, lesson 2, I'll go into the STEM folder, into trimester 1, which is what this is, into sessions 1 and 2, and then session 1, Lego chair day. So in the folder, you'll notice a presentation, you'll notice supporting materials. So these are the supporting materials needed for the lessons that you'll be teaching. This is the presentation that will step you through, no lesson plan needed. So I like to start out looking at the material that I have in there that kind of explains what you'll need for the day. So every single lesson is set up for you where it has a teacher prep page. And what I like about this is it kind of gives you just a quick overview of what you'll need for the day. 1 Lego kit, 1 stuffed animal bear, Beanie Baby size, not a monster one. Your printed Lego lesson plan, which is in that drive. If you go back here, that's what that is. And then the student vocabulary page, which is optional and up to you, but that is also in there as well. So I'm going to assume that you're not familiar with Google Drive and kind of would benefit from this tutorial, so I'll kind of go through some of the functions of how to go through Google Slides. So clicking this button here is the present. This will open up into the presentation, and then you'll just navigate here with either the keys on your keyboard or the arrows in the left corner. So every STEM starts off with some sort of overall and overarching idea related to science, technology, sometimes art, engineering, and math. So today we're working on engineering and specifically the engineering design process. So within that, we're using Legos to explore and learn the engineering design process. So in the beginning, we explore our tools, which is, one of those important things you learn that if you give kids manipulatives and want them to do something with it, give them some exploration time. Now what's nice is the day before, they did get to do this a little bit with their activity cards. So if you did want to maybe make this time a little shorter, it's totally up to you. But if you click here, you'll notice when you push play, all the timers are embedded within the presentation. So you don't need to go out and open a Google page and open up a timer. You don't have to go to online stopwatch. It's all here, right here for you. You can make this full screen. If it had sound, you can minimize or maximize that there and make it small screen again. So moving on, students would go into the background knowledge. What is an engineer? This is something that you would kind of feel out with your kids. If they already know what engineer is, perhaps skipping this would be beneficial. If they don't know, these Crash Course Kids episodes are pretty engaging and really good for giving that background knowledge. So then going into real life, tying that into any engineers, maybe if they know their parents are engineers, what are different types of engineers that they know of. And then the big bulk of the lesson is incorporating the engineering design process in this Lego building. So if you are needing just to watch that one activity due to time, I would urge you to watch this engineering design process video. Once you've done that, maybe do a quick activity where kiddos are either doing a jigsaw and what are the steps of the engineering design process, maybe giving them sticky notes and putting them in order, line up by the engineering design process steps. So it's up to you, but just trying to get that assessing understanding there. Moving into the first portion of our lesson is looking at these 5 items. What do they all have in common? And if you look at your lesson plan that was back in your folder, it will give you a scripted portion of what to say during these portions of the lesson, but I did want to put this in and give really pictorial avenue for kids to kind of think about it. What does a mechanical pencil, paper clips, toothpaste, Band-Aids, seeds, what do they have in common? Well, they're all engineered to solve a human problem. So going in, just kind of stepping through what different problems do these items solve. Then you'll go into your vocabulary piece, which will be different for each STEM activity, but in this case, it'll be the beams that they'll use. So they're saying, okay, I need one more brick, I need one more beam, using that vocabulary. And then your big idea for the STEM activity, aligning it to the engineering design process, is force, and bringing that in into that conceptual knowledge as well. So the big activity or challenge for the day would be building a chair that is sturdy enough to hold Mr. Bear so that it won't break when he sits on it, because the background story is Mr. Bear, he sat on that chair, he broke it, and he's a little mad and he needs a new chair. So the materials you would need, the kids can have any Legos from their kit. They'll learn building through the design process. So that's where you're going to be asking them different questions. What step are you in the design process? And then giving them some tips on building that effective chair. So you do have that challenge work time, which is that 30-minute timer. Make sure to go through and share the rubric with the students before they start building to see would the chair pass the ankle drop test, and a few other different ways to make sure that chair is an effectively built chair for Mr. Bear. And then just kind of reflecting at the very end of the lesson, how did it hold up? How would you redesign in that engineering design process? And then just getting a really good feel of what the kids understood of the engineering design process through this activity. So that is kind of a breakdown of the STEM process. I really hope that this was beneficial to you. I know sometimes getting into new curriculum can kind of be a little overwhelming, but if you ever need anything, please feel free to give me an email or send me a quick text at 509-554-8797. I'd like to support and be there for you whenever you need. So I hope this was helpful, and have a wonderful first day with your kiddos.